Jazz and Beyond,
where the standards are always hot
and the mood's just right.
On 702
and CapeTalk.
Hey everybody, it's Jazzmeia Horn. You are listening to Jazz and Beyond with the lovely Nothemba.
It is Jazz and Beyond, and welcoming you to the second hour, where you come for the jazz, you stay for a good time. And this is the hour where we have conversations and we engage with our stars and our artists. And of course, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz is coming at the end of September, from the 26th to the 28th of September. And we've been hosting some of the amazing guests that we can expect on the lineup. Jazzmeia Horn is certainly one of them. And I had a chance to chat to this amazing singer-songwriter, educator. She's a vocalist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a whole lot of things. And she's got a brand new album out. Well, it came out end of last year, called Messages. And you just heard a track from there called Destiny. And I started the conversation with her, reminding her that she knows a bit of Sesotho. And whether or not she has been, polishing her Sesotho when she comes here. And she also talks about disappointments she's had with meeting some of her heroes in person. Just be careful, when you meet your favorite star in person, sometimes it may not be what you expect. And she also talks about how her music uplifts people. And this is how it went. Jazzmeia, I'm glad you're still able to greet in our language. You're going to be speaking a lot of this language when you get here.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
So you've sharpened it up and, polished it a bit.
I was married to a man who was Sesotho, so I'm more privy to the sweet Sotho language versus the rest of them. Tswana, Indebele, Xhosa. It's a little more difficult for me because I haven't been there. This is gonna be my first time, so I'm very excited, but I'm a little bit nervous about messing up the language. That I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit nervous about that.
Jazzmeia, it's such a pleasure to talk to you again. In fact, I talked to you a couple of years back, not that long ago. That's when you came up with your book that also had the music, and that you were starting to teach women, what you didn't learn, when you were, starting music. And a couple of years have passed over that, and there's a sort of evolved Jazzmeia now, and you are still, in fact, you're still this force of nature, an amazing composer, educator, this amazing vocalist, musician, and not to mention the fact that we're celebrating Women's Month in August. So
really?
Yes, and I want to acknowledge you being an amazing mother and granddaughter, daughter, sister, and a great woman of not only just vocal talent, but a force of nature. So I'm celebrating you with this conversation.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you.
No, listen, it is, it's such an easy thing to say about you because your music, I love the fact that you always have something to say. and I wonder what is going on in that head of yours all the time, because you're so real, in what you sing about, and some of it comes out in not only as what do you call it? It comes out as poetry. Sometimes you just talk your way through, if you're not singing your way through or scatting your way through, kind of thing. So what happens in that head of yours?
One of the things that I guess something to talk about for me is that I've met a lot of the people that I've looked up to
Mm.
musically, like the musical giants, the female giants in music, in neo soul, in jazz, in R&B, in gospel. Um, More recently, like as a child, I didn't know them. I only knew them musically, but I've actually gotten to meet these people in the flesh over the past, 5 to 6 years, getting, Grammy nominations and NAACP award, different accolades just led me to be able to be in the places where these people were. And upon meeting them, I was so disappointed because I would listen to their music and their music would uplift me in a way that I can't even explain in words. It just would be the right moment, the right time in my life when I was going through something major or crazy or outrageous or just something that's breaking me and beating me to mold me into the person that I am now.
Mm.
And in those moments, their music was something that really elevated me. And then I met them and they are not a representation of their music.
Oh,
And that
Ex-
really just
ex-
pissed me off.
explain that.
Okay, so there was a situation in 2017. My first Grammy nomination was 17, and I was so excited about the Grammys. And there was this other sister who
That was for a social call.
it was for a social call.
Yeah.
Yes. So I saw the person who I was in the dressing room getting ready, and I saw this person. Their dressing room was right across from mine. And I went over and I was like, my brother was there with me and my mother was there with me. They were very excited too. They were like, oh my God, you've been nominated. Cause I told my brother, my baby brother, I told him, I said, cause he also sings. I said, when we were 14, we were watching the Grammys one day and I said, whichever one of us gets the Grammy, the other person is going to be the date. I don't care what we go through. And we pinky promised and we never, we always remembered. And so having my baby brother there with me was a blessing because it happened. Who imagined that? That's amazing. So he was there. He was like, oh my gosh, she's right next door. And I was like, I know. He was like, go say something. I was like, I can't. I'm shaking in my boots. He's like, drink water, calm down. Let's sit down. Let's get your makeup done because, she has to perform and then you're performing right after her. So let's just calm down. So I was like, okay, I'm going to calm down. And then I heard the door open and somebody was like, oh, let's get some air in here. And I was like, I'm going to go say hi. He was like, okay, fingers crossed. I'm going to be right here. And so he left the door cracked so he could hear the conversation.
Sure.
And I went over and I knocked on the door and I said, hello, I'm Jazzmeia Horn. It's a pleasure to meet you. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I just want to let you know how much you mean to me. And that person was just real rude and told her manager to shut the door.
Oh, no.
And I cried and messed up my makeup. And my makeup artist was pissed because she was just like, I just did this.
I can imagine.
And my brother and everybody in my family was just like, why? And that person's music, I can't listen to it the same. So in my mind, and that is not the first, or it probably won't be the last time that will happen. It made me realize that not every artist is real in what they're saying and what they're believing. Karen Clark Sheard, when her family came out and did a video and did a documentary on their music when Karen Clark Sheard became the lead singer in the band and one thing she said about Maddie, her mother was, my mother was real in what she believed in and what she did. Yeah. And I always keep that with me. And it makes me think about Harriet, my grandmother. She was an educator. And she was also a musician and she was real. And I don't know any other way to be. When I look at my mother sing in the mirror and get ready for church, she's practicing because she knows that the spirit is going to move her when she gets up there to sing. Or she's praying that the spirit does move her and uses her to enlighten and to heal somebody else when she gets up there to sing. My grandmother was the same way. She practiced at that piano at home because she knew that the Most High God was using her and she wanted to be able to help people. So who am I to not follow in the same tradition as my grandmother and my mother? Now that grandmother is not my mother's mother. That's actually my father's mother. My grandmother, that is my mother's mom, Ivory, she was not a singer. She was a domestic. She took care of little white babies and she took care of the Southern Texas, rich white people that lived in the Dallas part of Texas that my grandmother was raised in and brought up in.
Yeah.
She became domestic. She became someone who looked after, like she was a nanny, what they would call a nanny. So she didn't have the same experiences that my mother and I have had, or even my grandmother, that is my father's mother, had.
Yeah.
But my grandmothers, all of them, they were really real in what they saw and what they believed, and they taught us to be the same way. And so my thought process when I'm on stage is just to be genuine, like be honest in the music. Because I don't ever want somebody to come and meet me and say, Jazzmeia, I really love your music. I really appreciate your music. And then I'm like, get out. That's ugly. Who am I? These are God's people. Who am I to just be like, okay, whatever. I could never fix my face to do that to somebody, knowing that I'm representing the kingdom of God. Ain't no way. And so everybody does not live the same way, and everybody does not. So, I just want to do what I can to help people. I know that my music uplifts people because it uplifts me. And I test my music with my family and my children first before I send it out to the world. I know what my role is as an artist, and I know what I'm supposed to do. There's no way I'm going to be ugly to somebody like that. I know that we're all going through something, no matter, what our journey has been, what country we're from, our skin color. Everybody has something that they're going to. We have to show grace.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say on that.
What are the detectors of these people who are not real, who we adore when they do their art?
That's the thing. I was shocked. Like, I have no idea. Like, I didn't know. I promise you, I did not know it was going to be that way. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? The music sounds genuine. And what the music is talking about very much is enlightening. It's not, I'm twerking, I'm shaking my butt, I'm getting money, I'm building riches. It's not that kind of music.
I like to think my own thoughts.
I like to think my own thoughts. The track is called Happy Living. It's the music of Jazzmeia Horn on Jazz and Beyond. And 702 and CapeTalk from the album called Messages. And we're having in conversation with her. I spoke to her in the middle of the week, and she was really dropping some amazing jams. We'll continue the conversation after these few messages.
Come for the jazz and stay for the good times.
On Jazz and Beyond with Nothemba Madumo.
On 702 and CapeTalk.
Jazz and Beyond with Nothemba in conversation with Jazzmeia Horn, who's given us some amazing albums in the past, Social Call, Love and Liberation, and of course others as well. But right now she has been performing and touring the world on her new album called Messages, and she is coming to the Standard Bank Joya Jazz, and I'm in conversation with her. We get to find out what she knows about love, because she sings a lot about it. And also just she has something to say about artists being conscious about social justice and politics, or at least say something about it. And this is how that conversation started. I know you talk about your grandmother a lot, having influenced a lot of how you see things and how you behave, around things that happen for you or to you as well. Please share the story of why you even came up with, the book that you wrote, that you ended up having to, teach, because that comes. I like the fact that the experiences you have are expressed in your artwork. I mean, love and liberation, that in itself, the dear love, all those are part of the experiences which are authentic, which are real, and which then makes it very difficult for you to pretend to be something else,
Exactly. All I know is what I've experienced. So that's all I can write about. If I don't know something, I shut my mouth up about it. There's no need for me to talk about whatever. I don't know, love and a good marriage because I've never had that. I've had struggles. I've had children. I've had experiences. I've had, issues. I'm not saying I'm a starving artist or I'm an artist that goes through a lot of stuff. But as a woman, especially as a Black woman, baby, I done been through some things. So those things music is a way to express those things. I'm not the only Black woman on this planet. So I know that sisters can listen to the music and relate, and brothers too can listen to the music and relate to it. And so that's what my aim is, just to share my experiences and they be relatable to somebody and for someone to say, wow, she got through this, I can get through it too.
Sure. Tell me about Messages, your new project.
Messages came out in October of last year, so it's almost been a year now. Messages was because, so much happened between now and in 2020. 2020 and 2021 were just crazy years. 21 specifically because we were trying to get back on track, and things we realized ain't nothing ever gonna be the way it used to be. Like, that's old. All of those things that we experienced in the past, they are no more. Things are changing and they're issuing in a new world order, and things are just going to be different. And so knowing that, there was something that I felt I needed to say and I needed to get off my chest and to remind everybody of where we came from and where we started, and that's exactly where we're going to go back to. You can't sell your soul because you didn't make your soul. Right? If you are the maker of a child and you've made that child, that's your child. So no matter where that child goes, it still has your DNA. It still has your blood. It still has your line. It still has your heritage. And so our maker is coming for us. We are in the last days. The message is very clear. It's time to get our houses, our lives in order, and to keep our lamps oiled and to keep ourselves secure in who we are and what we know, because it's things are going to get crazy, and you have to keep your faith and keep your head strong. People are going to tell you all sorts of things, and the best thing to do is go with what you know based on your experiences. Your own personal experiences, not somebody else telling you what they think, not somebody else telling you what a Bible says, not somebody else telling you what a book says. Based on what you read for yourself, the knowledge that you have, that you've been gifted with, that's what you need to go by.
Yeah, I mean, you got titles like Voicemail Blues, and I'm sure that's related to the fact that you are on the road so much, traveling the world, and half the time you're not available for your family, your kids, or even other people and friends, and half the time it means you stay listening to voicemails.
Consistently. Like, if you call my phone right now, you're not going to be able to leave a message because I have so many messages to get back to. I'm just so busy.
Oh, man. Another song that is beautiful is Mysteries of Us.
Yes.
The Mystery of Us. And it's a beautiful love song, I think. You'll tell me if it's not.
It is.
and obviously you have to really open your heart and and just be sensitive to things about love. It also sounds like you've learned so much about love and more about yourself as well. What have you learned about love?
Right. It's hard for me to trust because of a lot of the things that I've been through. And so I just there's a love-hate relationship that I have with love. I feel like the lyrics to that song are, how can I live without you? I go on the road and I travel so much. And when I come home, I see all my closest friends, they're married, they have their partners, they have their love. And I'm just like, well, let me just go in here with my babies and get some of their love. But that's a different kind of love. It's still love, but it's a different kind. And I have yet to find, my love, my mate. So it's a love-hate relationship, kind of like my relationship with New York. There are certain things about New York that I absolutely love and adore and cherish. And there are other things about New York that I hate, that are funky, that, it stinks. Sometimes it's dirty. People are rude. That stopped me from still loving it. And so that's my relationship with love.
Yeah.
Some relationships that I've been in have just been amazing, but I just couldn't keep up with that person because it's time for me to go on the road, and they're always like, "Well, why are you on the road? Why are you gone away so much?" And then other times, it's been musicians who understand, but they have infidelity issues because they're so used to being on the road and getting whatever woman they want. So I definitely have a love-hate relationship with love, and that song is definitely about that. The Mysteries of Us. That's just talking about like, when will this ever, cease, this love-hate relationship? Can I just have the love and not have to have the hate part,
Yeah. But your children, your girls understand, and they've come accustomed to that mommy's going to be away. So how do you keep in touch with them, knowing that even though you're away, they are still loved? You can still discipline them while you're thousands of miles away, kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I just make sure that they know that I love them. While I'm here, I spend all, if not most of my time with them. And they also have tablets, so they're not allowed to call anybody but family and myself, on the tablets. They're not allowed to call their friends or anything like that. That's just for when I'm away. They can call me anytime. I bring the tablet backstage with me. My assistant knows if that tablet rings, you need to answer it and show them that I'm on stage performing.
That's
So that they'll know I will call them back as soon as I get off stage. And I don't have any moment in my life where I won't pick up the tablet. My phone is on silent when I go to sleep, but my tablet is not. Because I don't care if it's 3:00 in the morning in South Africa, but it's 6 p.m. in New York. Baby, I'm picking up that tablet because whatever they need to talk to me about is important.
That's a mother's love right there.
That's what it is.
That it is.
Yes.
Jazzmeia, you've said that all artists should have some social justice and political statements in their artistry, because it's hard to be a human being and not be political. Do you want to explain that in a way?
It depends on who you are. So for me, I can't not be political. I'm not trying to be political when I wake up and get out of bed and then somebody is, outside judging me based on how I look like. That's already politics. Like, you know what I mean? I wake up and I go outside and somebody doesn't like my hair or somebody wants to touch my hair. Well, what is this? That's already politics. Like, I'm not trying to be political, but it's already politics. And then if you have a platform, it just makes it easier for you to be able to access people to talk about those experiences. So, if you naturally participate in politics because of who you are as an individual, then some of those experiences should be shared so that people can know what's happening in society. So that's just kind of how I feel about that. I'm not saying everybody has to pick up the torch and fire away. No, because that's not everybody's, goal or interest. But if you naturally participate in politics, you wake up one day and you have to be, for example, you as a baby, the first thing that they want to do to you when you go to the hospital is vaccinate you. That's political.
Yes.
So you are a part of politics. You don't have the choice unless your parent says, no, I'm not doing it to my child. You don't have a choice. You are subjugated to whatever you experience when you come into this earth. That is political. Unfortunately, it hasn't always been that way, but that's political. So if you are a participant of politics, which most people are, then yes, you should share some of those. That's my personal opinion. You should share some of those experiences so that other people who don't have a platform, they know what's going on. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there is no way that our lives are not going to be affected by politics. The moment you step outside your house, already you're stepping into politics about where you live, what rules are there in the area you live, what you can do or cannot do on a daily basis is affected by politics. So you can't divorce yourself and say,
Right.
I'm not political. But talking about somebody telling you how you look or not, I need you to show me when you get here how you tie those turbans on your head.
I got you.
And they don't fall off.
No. Do you have hair?
Yes, but not long braids like you. I don't have, you've got, you still have
Locks.
the locks. Yeah, long locks. Yeah. So.
They're not, I cut them, so they're not as long. They're like shoulder length. But you don't have to. There's so many tricks that you could use, depending on which way you want to tie it. So I got you. When we get there.
I'm good. There's one thing. That's one thing we have in common. My favorite vocalist for a long time and still today, and I wonder where she is now. Because I miss her voice, Rochelle Farrell.
She, I was told, I don't want to, misquote, but I was told that she's been having some mental issues, and so
I had heard that she's not well. I didn't know what it was. Yeah.
So she's not performing as much. I used to go to the Blue Note to see her every year during her residency. But she doesn't do the Blue Note residency anymore, and I don't know where she is. And it hurts my heart to the core because that's one person I have to meet before I leave this planet. I just feel like if I could just touch the hem of her garment. Listen.
I know. In fact,
I love that lady, man. I love her so much.
She was at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz once, and I got to interview her. And it's always been one of my favorite interviews, talking to her as well. So you're up next.
Swooning for some jazz
Let Nothemba Madumo serve you up some jazz and beyond
on 702 and CapeTalk.
The mysteries of us. Oh, we're so running out of time. Jazzmeia Horn, the album Messages, in conversation with her. And we are wrapping up the conversation. As you listen to this music, do download the music so that when she comes and performs at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, you know exactly which songs you love. In this last part of the conversation, she talks about the teachers that she has and also the status of music education, as well as what we can expect for her performance when she comes through for the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. And this is what she said. I hope you do some workshops when you come, because
that's the goal. I'm trying to,
or maybe a master class, because you're an amazing teacher. In fact, talking about teachers, who are your teachers? Do you still have teachers?
Of course. I'm taught right now by Billy Harper. I'm taught by George Cables. I'm taught by Lisa Fisher. I'm taught by Orvin Evans. And a lot of my teachers are not teaching me on the voice.
Yeah.
It's more on the business. Even Dee Dee Bridgewater, Diane Reeves, I can call them at any time and they can teach me about something. And it's not always what's going on with the voice. Most of the time, I have a promoter that's being a jerk. How do I handle this? Or I've signed this contract and this is what has happened. I do have a lawyer and I have people that I can talk to, about logistics and about legalities. But it's just something when you can go to
and then lessons of life.
Yes, people who've already experienced what I've been through. So I have these teachers. They're more like mentors who I can just, rely on and talk to about different things. I really wish Rochelle Farrell was one of those people, to be honest.
Oh man, I hope she comes out of it. Let's before we're almost wrapping it up, and there's one thing that I think is very important, and your position on it, I think, is very enlightening. It's the question of starting, at educational institutions, studying jazz or studying music, and that you've had experiences where you say what you were taught was not what you learned, on in the industry, and that's what you teach, because that's lacking, in the schools.
That's correct. A lot of my experiences in schools, even to this day, as an educator, the students are not learning what they need to actually thrive in the industry. If you go to school for business, you're not going to learn performance. If you go to school for performance, you're not going to learn business, because the models that they have in the education system is you are going to learn how to be a worker, and not learning to be going to school to learn how to be independent and do things for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So as an artist, you need to have business. Even if you plan to have a team work for you, or an industry, like a label behind you, you still need to understand the business so that you can make sure that you're getting everything that you need for yourself. It's a very wicked world. And if people know you don't know, then if you don't know, then they know that they can get over on you. If you don't know that you're supposed to own your own ISRC codes, then they'll expect you to not know what an ISRC code is, and to have no idea how to even go about getting one or obtaining one. If they know you don't know anything about royalties, you're never going to ask for royalties, so they're never going to bring it up or never even mention it. If they know that they can own your licensing in perpetuity, then they're never going to bring up when it's time for you to own it, or how long, so there's certain things that you just need to know as an artist about the business that they're not teaching in schools. And the same thing in performance. There are certain things in the education system that teaches performance that they don't teach. Like, a lot of singers are not taught how to run a band.
Yeah.
People don't know how to run a band. A lot of the times in school, actually, what I'm seeing in all the universities, and this is in Amsterdam, this is in Germany, this is in Denmark, this is in Copenhagen, which is in Denmark, this is in, where else have I been? Italy, more recently, Rome, France, this is in Scotland, this is in Chicago, in Korea. This is like all over the world. Okay. They are separating the singers from the instrumentalists. In the singer classes, it's very much like being on the short bus. When you have to go to school and they have a little short bus for the students that are a little less educated, they used to call it the retarded bus. They don't call it that anymore. Then the long yellow bus is for just, the regular kids who's going to school. Well, the instrumentalists are on that long yellow bus, and then the vocalists are in that short bus. And then you graduate college and everybody's flying jets, and you never even had the opportunity to ride the long yellow bus. You've been in a short bus your whole career, your whole college education. So it's stifling.
Yeah.
The children are not learning what they actually need to learn. And I think it's really pitiful. This is one of the reasons that I wrote the book, and I'm writing a new book as well. Just kind of an updated one, because that book is now outdated. That was written during the pandemic, and now we have AI and a lot of other things that have changed. So I'm also working on a new book. But people, I just all of these people that are educators, a lot of them are not performers, so they have no idea what's happening in the world.
Is that the reason why you applied for a teaching position to like 17, 18 universities, and they all said no? And they thought,
it's
not
36.
this way. Was it 36? And they all said,
it is now.
no.
Yes. And they all have said no.
My.
Every last one of them. I've applied in Texas, where my family lives, because I was thinking about going back to Texas at one point. I've applied in Chicago, in Amsterdam, in New York, Peabody, I mean, Jersey. Utah, Colorado, like probably all of the major schools um in the United States and a few in Amsterdam. They all have said no. Every last one of them.
Wow. Okay. One last question before I ask you about what we can expect from you at the Standard Bank Joya Jazz.
Okay.
My question is, Jazzmeia Horn is all these things, educator, composer, vocalist, musician, multi-award winning artist, Grammy nominee, lover of life, and an entrepreneur. Who's Jazzmeia the businesswoman? What's your business?
What's my business? What does that mean?
Meaning that you're a businesswoman. Outside of you being on stage, the legacy you're living for your children, what is it?
To make sure that they have enough money to live without me once I'm gone.
I'm saying the entrepreneur in you. So what? I know you got a label, and yes, you have been selling your book, and you've, having online, lectures and so forth, and this is also just to inspire others that you don't have to be one thing. You can be a lot of things all at once.
That's true. Yeah, so I also own real estate. Like I have a couple of different properties around the United States, just so that, it's something that my children can have access to, if anything happens to me, or if, they graduate high school and they say, Mama, I don't want to live with you. Well, you guys can have one of the properties because the properties are already in their names. I also invest in stocks and bonds, just because music may shut down one day and I still have to have, some type of residual income. We learned that from the pandemic. I just have my hands in a lot of other things, in education as well, because I don't feel like, as an artist, you can't just expect music to be the end all be all. You set yourself up for failure that way. So
and you have a team to take care of a lot of the other things, because I can't see you singularly handling all of that.
I mostly handle everything. The team handles my music business. Everything else is me being hands-on. I don't. Yeah, they don't need to have their hands in my real estate or my Roth IRAs or none of that's my personal. Those are personal assets. Those are not business assets. So I don't. No, they handle my music business. Like, I have a tour manager, project manager, personal assistant kind of thing. But in terms of all other things, no, absolutely not.
You got yourself banned before, I guess.
Yes.
There was a clip a video clip on Instagram the other day. A gentleman was talking about how pissed off he is that, when musicians have these jam sessions, the moment a vocalist comes on, they all roll their eyes. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. It's a war. There's a lot of musicians who love and appreciate singers, but there's a lot of musicians that hate us. Absolutely hate us. Like, oh man, here comes the singer. We had that reputation in the industry. And I'll tell you, it comes from us being on the short bus in school.
You said it. You said it.
They don't teach us what we're supposed to learn because they don't want us to succeed. Yeah. So you have these old white men who created the curriculum. We all know old white men do not honor women. They feel like women are supposed to sit down and have their place and not say nothing. So then you got the schools. So you got this type of man creating curriculum in the school system. Well, in his mind, the singer is just supposed to sing it in whatever key they call it in. And it's supposed to just learn and sit down and be quiet
And not
and
ask
not have
questions.
to. Yeah. So then you're not really learning what you're supposed to learn. Then you get out in the real world and you realize you don't know what tempo, you don't know how to count it off, you don't know how to play the changes, you don't know how to do you don't even speak the language really. You just went to school and spent all this money and just to be put on the back burner.
Yeah.
So we're fighting consistently as women to have our own ways, and that's why I really like what Terry Lynn Carrington is doing and is fighting for. Because
Yes.
it really is an injustice in the industry. There really is. A lot of my counterparts. I ask them. I call them up. Hey, Marquise, what you make from this gig? Hey, Keon, Christian, what y'all making? What they paying y'all? And it's like significantly higher than what I'm being paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Significantly. So it's, even me, like I don't think it's ever going to end unless something is being done about. I mean, you think about the presidency that we just had, and everybody voted the other way just because they didn't want to have a woman. It's a lot going on with that in itself.
Yeah.
It's just, as the Black woman, we always get the bottom of the stick. We just always do.
Well, you're going to be at the top of the list and at the top of the stick when you come to the Joy of Jazz. What you have in store for us, girl?
I'm very excited about coming, and I'm very excited. Man, this is going to be cool because I get to sing for my people. What? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
This is going to be my first time to South Africa, but I have a lot of South African students. There's a large South African community in
Lovely.
New York.
Lovely.
And just the way that the people are just very excited. Everybody's reaching out to me on Instagram and Facebook like, oh my God, I'm traveling all the way from Cape Town, or I'm coming from Durban, or wherever they're coming from, just because they're excited about this festival and they're excited about the performance. And so that gives me so much joy. It is called the Joy of Jazz.
Yeah,
So.
there's a lot of joy we're going to have. We're looking forward to you. Are you going to play a repertoire from all the albums, or are you going to focus on the new one?
Yes, I would like to focus on messages, but there will be some some gems. Some of the, of course, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging.
You have to. You have to. I know. The listeners always, when I play Dear Love or Love and Liberation, what's the song where your daughter starts off? Are your daughters talking at the beginning? Yes, Thrive. You got to do that one.
Yeah, they would be excited for that too.
Yeah, you got to do that one. Jazzmeia, always a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much. We can't wait to see you on stage, and I can't wait to learn how to tie the turban the way you do. You are just special. Just know that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
Kia leboga.